Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a total game changer when it comes to how we process information. We're looking at some brilliant insights from Sandeep Swadia about moving away from just staring at words on a page to actually building a dangerously smart, self-educated mind. We're going to completely rethink how we read. And maybe more importantly, we're going to see how we can use AI not as some lazy crutch to do the work for us, but as our ultimate intellectual sparring partner. Let's get into it.
So let's just be honest for a second. Think back. How many of the last 5 books you read actually changed you? Like, really changed your behavior? If your answer is 0, hey, you are absolutely not alone. Most of us, we read a book, close the cover, and literally forget almost everything within a couple of weeks. It's crazy. But then there's this top 1% of readers. They read specifically to completely rewire how they think, how they make decisions, and how they communicate. And the crazy part? The secret isn't that they're naturally way smarter than us. It's just that they have a better system.
And that system is exactly what we're going to build today. Here's our agenda. We're going to start by exposing the passive reading trap, redefine how we interact with AI, and then we'll break down the ACTR framework, which is aim, compress, test, own, and run. Then we'll cap it off with the ultimate reader's edge. All right, Section 1, the passive reading trap, breaking the illusion. Before we build this shiny new system, we've got to demolish the bad habits that are secretly holding us back. You see, we constantly tell ourselves these myths about learning, like, oh, I'm a visual learner, or I'm strictly an auditory learner. Well, spoiler alert, research across major universities shows practically zero evidence that these so-called styles actually improve memory. But we label ourselves anyway, and that label just artificially caps our potential. We also totally fall for what's called the illusion of fluency. There's this wild Yale University study where people were asked how well they understood everyday things, like a zipper or a toilet. Naturally, everyone was insanely confident until they were asked to actually explain step by step exactly how those objects functioned. Their confidence completely plummeted. And because of this illusion, we fall into 3 big reading traps. First, the highlighter trap, where we trick ourselves into thinking that highlighting a sentence is the exact same thing as memorizing it. Second, the summary trap, where we take these gorgeous, perfect notes that we literally never look at again. And third, the completion trap, where we give ourselves a gold star just for getting to the last page, even though absolutely nothing inside of us has changed. Which brings us to Section 2, AI, collaborator, not shortcut. Now, in our modern world, these reading traps are getting so much deeper, and it's mostly because of AI. Using AI to completely dodge the heavy lifting of wrestling with a new idea, yeah, that is the biggest trap of all. Look at it this way. Having AI summarize a book for you is literally like asking AI to go to the gym and do your push-ups for you. You get this instant, perfectly formatted summary and you feel accomplished, but you get absolutely zero cognitive muscle growth out of it. You didn't actually wrestle with the concepts. You won't remember them, and you definitely won't be able to use them in real life. AI shouldn't make reading optional. It should make it infinitely deeper. AI is not your shortcut, it's your collaborator.
Okay, Section 3, actor, aim and compress.
So how do we fix this whole passive reading thing and actually use AI the right way? We need a bulletproof solution, because reading isn't just about absorbing facts, right? It's basically training for complexity. It's about holding 2 opposing ideas in your head and forging a perspective that is entirely your own. Enter the actor framework. It stands for aim, compress, test, own, and run. This flips the script. Instead of just sitting outside a book, kind of passively watching the author think, you become the active actor in the story. And the coolest part is that AI plays a massive, very specific role inside every single one of these steps.
Let's kick it off with aim. Most of us read like tourists, just wandering around. The best readers, they read like spies on a highly classified mission. Take Lin-Manuel Miranda. Back in 2008, he grabs this dense 800-page biography of Alexander Hamilton just as a beach read. But he wasn't casually flipping pages. He went in with a lifelong obsession with hip-hop, immigration, and the power of words. That was his mission. And when that specific purpose crashed into that specific book, it sparked one of the biggest Broadway smash hits in history. So your move here is simple. Write down a 1-sentence mission statement before you crack the spine. Say to yourself, I am reading this because I need to X. And hey, if you're stuck and don't know your mission, ask your AI to act as a framer. Have it give you 3 provocative questions to carry with you into the book. Now for the next step, compress. Elon Musk actually has this brilliant analogy where he compares knowledge to a tree. Before you start frantically collecting all the leaves, the minor details, the clever little quotes, the side examples, you absolutely have to find the trunk. The trunk is that core, load-bearing idea that holds the entire book together. The reason we forget what we read is that we gather all these loose leaves and have nowhere to attach them. You have to compress the book into something your brain can actually hold on to by identifying that trunk. And if you're struggling to find it, boot up your AI sidekick. Pitch it what you think the main idea is and just ask, hey, check my interpretation. What did I totally miss? Am I overstating this? Let's keep moving. Section 4. Test AI as an opponent.
All right, this brings us to the third step. And honestly, this is the most uncomfortable part of the entire actor framework, the test phase. This is where reading actually becomes an act of self-discovery. Look, human beings naturally love it when we find evidence that proves we were right all along. There was this famous Stanford study that gave people mixed evidence about the death penalty. Instead of looking at it objectively and becoming more balanced, people ruthlessly attacked the evidence they disagreed with and praised what confirmed their existing bias. They walked away way more polarized. That's exactly why real reading requires us to disagree and push back. It's said that Bill Gates actually writes even more feverishly in the margins when he disagrees with an author. He doesn't just throw the book away, he wrestles with it. You've got to read like a spy, infiltrating an enemy camp, hunting for what you can use, even if the premise totally rubs you the wrong way.
And this right here is where AI transforms from just a handy little tool into your ultimate intellectual opponent. You need to literally instruct your AI to act as your sparring partner. Feed it your main takeaways and hit it with specific, aggressive prompts. Tell it, challenge my interpretation, or find the hidden assumptions I'm making right now. Ask it to give you its absolute best counterargument, or to describe a real-world situation where this book's advice would completely blow up in my face. Because honestly, if a book only ever makes you feel warm and comfortable, there is no way it's going to change your life.
Next up, Section 5, Own and Won.
So you've survived the test, you've wrestled with the big ideas. Now you have to lock that knowledge in and drag it into the real world. Just because you bought a book doesn't mean you own the ideas inside it. A Washington University study actually proved that looking away from a text and forcing yourself to recall it from memory builds vastly better long-term retention than just passively rereading the page. To truly own the knowledge, you've got to connect it to a real-life mistake you made, or maybe a conversation you just had yesterday. And the ultimate test of ownership, teach it. If you can't teach it, you do not own it yet. And once again, AI is an unbelievable coach for this. Try explaining the concept to an AI chatbot and just ask it, okay, am I hitting the right notes here? Where did my explanation get totally confusing? And finally, we get to run. Thinking is great, but it's not enough until it actually helps you build something in the real world. A book can totally rewire your mind, but only if you allow it to interrupt your life. Sandeep Swadhyay pointed out that reading the book Crucial Conversations literally changed his behavior in high-stakes, emotionally charged meetings. It made him acutely aware of whether the room felt safe and whether they were actually building shared meaning. Ask your AI sidekick to distill the book's core idea into one single decision, one rule, or one checklist that you can physically use today. You have to turn those words into actions.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, the ultimate reader's edge.
Let's wrap this up by looking at what committing to this kind of intense, active reading actually does to you over the course of a lifetime. Think about it. We're stepping into an era where literally everyone on Earth is going to have access to the exact same instant AI summaries and perfectly polished notes. The advantage is no longer just having access to information. Your real edge is what you bring to the material as a living, breathing human being. It's your unique judgment. It's your personal taste. It's developing a point of view that is undeniably yours, forged through the hard work of aiming, compressing, testing, owning, and running. I want to leave you with this final, kind of profound thought. Great books, they work a lot like a great song. You hear a song once and you enjoy it, but then you hear it years later and it somehow knows exactly where you are in your life right at that moment. The song didn't change at all. You did. Books reveal the hidden stories we tell ourselves, the fears we're protecting, and the assumptions we didn't even know we inherited. The deeper you read the book, the better you start reading the people around you, and the better you can read the room. So the next time you sit down with a book, I want you to ask yourself, are you just reading the pages, or are you finally letting the pages read you?